situation. Okay, and this is really complete dominance. You have the homozygous dominant, you have the heterozygous, and you have the homozygous recessive. And you're writing out the alleles like this. Am I correct? And you might then write the phenotype like this. For example, red flower, white flower, and then maybe like a red again, right? Because in this case, the dominant R is dominant over the recessive white for complete dominance, so it would be red. Right? Now, if you were doing incomplete dominance, which would be the next step, you might write it like this. You might write it like this. Dominance. I actually do it this way. It's less confusing to me, but this is not technically correct. So I really have to show you the right way. And I did it in the other video, but I want to re-emphasize that, okay? So you might write it this way. We have our alleles, and now we just know that this one is going to be a blend. So the real most important part about incomplete is you're getting a blend. Whereas in complete, the dominant rules over the recessive, so you get red and red. In incomplete, you're going to get like a pink. So let's write this in. Red, white, and then you get a blend of a pink. Oh, pink. Alright, so that's what your incomplete is going to look like. Red, pink, and white. Alright, now the way you actually write this is a little different. The way you actually write this, what you do is you write CR, CR, and you actually use a different allele. You go, like, for example, in this one, it'd be CW, CW, and it really is up to you what the letter is, as long as you remember. So CR, CR, CW, CW, and the blend is going to be CR, CW. Now, basically, kind of saying the same thing. I mean, this is the way I used to do it, because it's just more, and you just have to remember this is incomplete, so this is pink. But this is how you might see it, so I want to prepare you for that. If you see something with a C and a superscript, then you are talking about incomplete dominance. That's how it's written. So you might want to remember that for any key that you make. Okay, so that's incomplete, and this is technically complete. That's what that would look like. Now let's do codominant. Okay, codominance. Codominance. Right, now in codominance, you're not going to get a blend, and you're not going to get the one allele dominant over the other. Instead, what you get is one and the other coexisting together at the same time. And this is written technically correctly with capital letters. So we did sickle cell anemia. In sickle cell anemia, I believe you write the R's first. You have R, R, and you have S, S. If you were this, you would be totally healthy. You do not have sickle cell anemia. If you have this, you have sickle cell anemia. Okay, and if you have the meaning they're at the same time, you actually have something called sickle cell trait, which doesn't technically, it doesn't kill you. It actually helps you defend against malaria if that's around. Now it can harm you in certain ways. So if you're not around mosquitoes, this is what you're going to want. So like in America, we don't have malaria, so you tend to get this. In Central Africa, you will see this still around because there's still malaria transferred by insects. So we call this, that's what you call it in the disease. We might call this homozygous for R here. So we'll say that in this situation, this is normal. And technically, you'd write if you want to describe this, it's homozygous for R, because it's not dominant. Like over here, it's homozygous dominant because R is dominant over the small r. Right? But down here, it's homozygous, but it's not dominant. So it's kind of semantics, depends, but just realize it's homozygous for regular, you could say normal allele, and then this is homozygous for the sickle cell. Homozygous. And this is a heterozygote. Anytime you have two different alleles, you have a heterozygote. Heterozygote. So this would be normal, and this would be sickle cell trait. Cell trait. And this is sickle cell anemia, which is not good, right? basically just a disease. Anemia. You're not getting enough oxygen to your body, basically. Anemia. Okay, so this is how you will see codominance written. And if we were going to do a cross, for example, of let's say a normal female and a sickle cell trait in a male, we would write RR times RS. That would be our cross. We would just do it just like these, remembering that this is the outcomes for your Punnett square. And if you want to see how to do that, go to the Punnett squares for codominance, and you will see, I think I did one with different types of cows that were codominant. What I really want to talk about so that's sickle cell anemia, but what I really want to talk about is blood. Because blood can get a little bit more confusing, because blood is actually a combination of codominance and complete dominance. So we're going to talk about blood now.